My clients kind of are split into, I would say, 3 main categories. There's people who come to the Bureau for immediate support in terms of fuel vouchers with topping up their meters, or if they're off supply, things like that. I then have clients who are coming in with energy company complaints that have maybe been going on for several months, and they're looking for the support of CAB. And then we've got clients that are kind of experiencing more longer term difficulties with their energy supply in terms of the financial side, just with the rise in the cost of living, with the fuel crisis. People are falling behind in payments with their gas and electricity, and so my day can vary between having them in to the Bureau for appointments or doing outreach services across East Renfrewshire, as most of the advisors will do, just so that we can make sure that everyone in East Renfrewshire kind of has access to the Bureau and the support we offer.
It's a wide-ranging job. My job encompasses things from benefits to helping people with energy and debt and council tax things. So
my day changes from day to day, so it's all aspects of housing. So I can be dealing with council tenants, like Barhead Housing Association or other housing association tenants, people who are homeless, private sector, so people that are renting off a landlord and have maybe received a notice to quit, so we deal with evictions and things like that. So all aspects of housing, even down to neighbour complaints, I would deal with.
Started off in here through an unemployment scheme, and I started off in an admin role and have worked my way up to money advisor, which obviously I think is good. But day to day I see clients, I take phone calls, and the biggest thing that we're seeing just now is council tax arrears. Everything is coming at once. Energy bills, council tax, even just food.
So my job is primarily assisting clients with any immigration related inquiries, in particular that relates to the EU settlement scheme. It was brought in 2019 to help EU nationals to remain living in the UK after Brexit. So for the last 4.5 years I've been assisting clients with their applications to the EU settlement scheme, which helps people establish a life in the UK. I've now seen that clients are returning to the Bureau as they're now eligible for settled status, which is permanent residency. That just helps solidify their life in the UK.
The whole main aim of my project is basically to help those that are over state pension age to claim the benefits that they're entitled to. So the main problem with that kind of generation is they're not actually aware of the benefits that are out there. So we set up this project about 6 months ago, and what we were wanting to do was to go out with into the community, because a lot of them find it difficult to actually get into the office. We cover obviously the whole of East Ren, and if they don't drive or if they've got mobility issues, it's kind of hard for them to get to the office. So I've been doing a lot of drop-in sessions. I go to kind of elderly groups. I've been to ethnic minority group for the elderly. I've been to a knit and chat group, Salvation Army, giving presentations about the project and the benefits that are available to them. So it's been really busy. It's been really good, so it's a really rewarding project as well.
On a day-to-day basis, it would help clients with any kind of aspects of benefits. So it could be a simple benefit check, it could be someone saying they don't think their benefit amount's correct, they've got an overpayment, they've got a letter demanding they pay back money, or they might want to go to a benefit appeal because they don't agree with a decision. So we'll take somebody to appeal, attend a hearing with them, and yeah.
The cost of living crisis is something that's affected everyone. So I think there's a lot of people who, I think we've found certainly in the office in the last sort of 6 months, a lot of people who previously never would have thought they would have needed to come to the Bureau for help have came to us, because things have become that, you know, they've needed that support. There's a lot of things that I think are piling up for people just after the pandemic as well. I think there's a lot of things all happening at once that make things difficult for people.
Obviously the rise in the cost of living, people are spending a bigger chunk of their income on things like the prices of food and their gas and electricity. fuel poverty has become a very common thing for people in Scotland, so that's classified as more than 10% of their income on their energy supply. CAB, do a lot of kind of social policy work to identify that is a rising trend amongst clients.
To go by the outreaches we have, there's Clarkston, Thornley Bank, Barrhead and Mearns, and all of those areas are quite different, but what you do find is that within each area there's a pocket of people who do all suffer the same issues.
People maybe not knowing the benefits they're entitled to.
There's a few reasons why clients would come to us. Technical difficulties, there's a language barrier, and sometimes people just need that additional support to know that they're doing the application right. With the EU settlement scheme, as I said, it helps to establish people's livelihoods in the UK if they want to remain living here. So people are allowed to work, study, access the NHS, just like everyone else, as part of this EU settlement scheme.
State pensions, a few of them are finding them quite low if they've not got a private pension, so then we're applying for pension credit to bring that up, which can then open you up to things like your free TV licence, healthcare costs, all that sort of thing. But I think the other thing is kind of heating costs. I've noticed a lot of my clients are basically, they're sitting in the cold, or they don't want to put the heating on, they're scared to put the heating on because they don't know how much it's going to cost. There's also a bit of kind of digital exclusion as well. A lot of them can't get online or don't know how to use computers, Wi-Fi, that sort of thing, and so many things nowadays are online.
My experience would be that it's no longer only people who are on benefits that are struggling. You've got people, there might be a family where mum and dad are both working, they're maybe trying to pay a mortgage, trying to pay their rent, but just because someone's working does not necessarily mean that they're not impacted by the cost of living.
Homelessness does have the biggest impact. We do a lot of appeals as well if people have maybe been offered a property that's not suitable for them. I deal with a lot of domestic violence, clients that come through Women's Aid, and for numerous reasons they can't live in certain properties or certain streets and things like that, so my job is to appeal them and hope that we can get that overturned so they can continue to bid on properties. A very long waiting list. We've got loads of people in temporary accommodation because of the increase in mortgages as well. A lot of private landlords are having to sell their properties, which are second homes. People are getting forced to sell, which is causing more people to add to the homeless list.
I think obviously the most rewarding part of it is seeing the results coming through for them. Like the elderly generation are very grateful for the help, and they're nice to spend time with as well, like they're always very pleasant. So I went to a knit and chat drop in, so they were all knitting, chatting obviously, and I spoke to a woman who had kind of various health conditions, so I explained to her that we could do an application for attendance allowance. So I made an appointment with her, we done the application, and then while we were doing the application I got speaking to her and she was telling me about her husband who also has health conditions as well. So I made an appointment for a home visit to him because his mobility was pretty bad. So went to the house, filled out an application form for him, and after 8 weeks they both got back that they got a high rate for each of them. So that was like a huge client financial gain for them. Like that made a huge difference in terms of, because it can go towards just making your life a bit easier in terms of, like, say if you need a cleaner, a cooker, if you're paying for private care, that kind of thing. So the two of them were really overjoyed about that, because initially they didn't know anything about the benefit. When I first spoke to her as well, she didn't think she would be entitled, because that is quite a lot of them. The clients, when you speak to them, they just go, oh no, like I'm not entitled to that. But when you actually explain to them, I think speaking to someone in person really helps. That is probably the most rewarding part, when you start seeing the results coming through. It's like a win for yourself as well.
I do get satisfaction from the appeals because people have got different reasons why they can't live in certain areas, and if they're feeling forced and backed into a corner to take a certain property, it's good to help them feel like they have a bit more control, especially when it's domestic abuse victims, because they've sometimes lived through their life being told what to do and where to go, and to give them that wee bit of control of their life, it is very rewarding.
I just think it's a really rewarding job. Like, even just having the opportunity to try and help people, you don't always have success stories, but when you do, it makes you feel good knowing that you can take a weight off people's shoulders. Because that's what a lot of my clients say. Just when they sit down in an interview room, they just go, the fact I've just came in and told you what's going on, it's a weight off my shoulder. You've taken that from me, and I know something will come of it.
I have previously, with a few clients, used my knowledge of Italian, which has come in handy, and having a knowledge of another language does help me in the job role, as I can get through language barriers with clients. It's obviously, if English isn't your first language, it can be hard to understand the process, so I try my best.
It's a lovely fella, was always a plasterer, needs 2 new knees, waiting list shocking, looking at over 2 years. So he's been unable to work, living himself on universal credit. On his universal credit, he had said he was no longer fit to work. DWP had asked him to prove that. We filled the form in, they said no, you're fit to work. We went to appeal recently and the appeal was successful. It was just just to see the relief in his face.
A few years ago I helped a young couple, a man who is a German national and his wife who is a French national. I got them their pre-settled status in the UK. That the man has since become a great colleague of mine, and the pair now have a beautiful young daughter who I recently just helped get her pre-settled status. You build up that trust with your clients as they know that as Citizens Advice we're here to help them in any way that we can, so they feel that they can rely on us.
A couple of months ago, who came to me at Outreach, and he's a client who had only him and his family had only recently been given recourse to public funds. So he had 2 children under the age of 16, but he hadn't been able to claim child benefit, where he was off work due to health issues and his wife worked part-time, so there was the need for benefits to support their income. So over the course of numerous appointments, when the Bureau was able to get the child benefit sorted for him, Scottish child payment, as well as get a universal credit joint claim for both him and his wife, there was a lot of work that needed done and a lot of assistance that they'd just been able to receive. So I think being able to help people get that help that they need, and it was good.
We've got a great morale in the Bureau. We're a team and we all work together really closely, as with a lot of inquiries it could start off as an immigration inquiry and then it could become a housing problem, a benefits problem, so it all intertwines.
We make a lot of clients feel very comfortable. Plus, if you're homeless, a lot of time you can't afford a solicitor for these things, and it's free. We don't judge people, and we're willing to help them and listen to their story, and sometimes that is all people need, someone that's going to listen to them and try and help them the best they can. Yeah, it is really rewarding, especially when there's children involved. I've got a soft spot for helping kids, so to see them getting a new home and being able to restart their life the way it should have been, I find that really, really rewarding.
One of the busier Fridays we've had, that's all.
Yeah. No, there was a few new ones that came in as well, mostly energy.
Successful?
Yes, very. See you later, bye.
It's strange, but it's nice.
Is that a relation?
Answer for that.